glucose, okay? And you'll see that.
Chef, is glucose expensive?
No, it's not that expensive at all. And glucose comes from anything. You can get corn glucose, corn syrup. You know, basically you can get, you know, wheat or whatever, potato. Now, that's a good question. And now I'm going to start. You're going to kind of see here, it's going to begin. You're going to see some impurities kind of start coming to the surface. But the glucose that you want, if anybody knows when you go to your place to buy it, okay, and some places don't even know the difference. But wheat glucose, and you're going to see here, here's my tea strainer. I really don't have any crystals, but if I did, this is where I would wash it off, okay, and my stuff started to boil. Chef Bush likes to do the impurities, you know, while it's boiling, stuff like that, and, you know, we agree to disagree. I had this, and I'm talking, and otherwise it got away from me. I want to take the impurities off. I'm going to turn this down. I like to get the impurities before it boils, because, and this is what I've been taught, and this is what I learned, is that once it boils, and this went so quickly, which is good, it just went so quickly that I was talking, the impurities were on the surface, and I didn't get a chance to wash it off. But when you do it, you're going to take it, and you're going to wash off your impurities with your tea strainer, and you have two opportunities. One, while just before it boils, and then two, right after you put your glucose in there. So I'm going to take my glucose.
What's the purpose of keeping the spoon in the cold water?
There was no purpose. I'm just, it's going to get full of sugar here in a minute, and rather than sitting on a table and get it all gooped up.
Groundbreaking theory.
I just didn't know if it was for
No,
anything.
there was no, but once it gets the sugar on there, you know that,
Yeah.
you know, like right now, if I left this on there, I'd be being cussed out by table one saying, chef left the whatever spoon with all kinds of gunk on it.
We don't curse at table one, chef.
All right, yeah. Okay, now,
Chef, those two opportunities, those were to prevent crystallization?
prevent crystallization, impurities. So I took a little bit of this warm syrup and I'm putting it in the bowl just to try to get this amount of glucose out of here. That's all I'm doing. Okay, so, and then, and you guys want to pay attention to what you're doing here. Don't do what chef does. Do what he says. You know, when you get it, you'll have an opportunity to actually take those impurities off of there. So you take this, all right, and then I'm going to turn it up again. Now, I want to put in my, and this doesn't really matter as far as, I'm going to take some of this cold water here, and I'm going to actually mix it in with my cream of tartar. Now in this method, I want my cream of tartar in there early because I want it to activate and start inverting the sugar, and it takes longer with cream of tartar than it does tartaric acid. That's a liquid already. That's a different procedure, and I'll explain that when we do the demo on Monday, because we will do another demo.
Can't get good anymore.
And I'm going to go ahead and add the cream of tartar early now, okay? Because I do want to invert this sugar somewhat, okay? Again, if there was any syrup on the side or whatever, I'll go ahead and get rid of that. I'm going to go ahead and turn this up now.
So you wanted this all done before the boil?
No, I mean my cream of tartar could have gone in there in the beginning. That's fine, but I don't put in my cream of tartar until I actually descum. You know, like right before it starts to boil. Then I put it in there because we're not anywhere near where we need to be. So I'm going to turn this up quite a bit, probably as high as it'll go. All right. Yep. Chef keeps not turning it off here. Yep. 100% power. I got it on 400. Because now I want to boil this as quickly as possible. I'm not going to stir anymore. I'm going to look to see if there's any crystals. I really don't have any crystals. I'm just going to wash that pot down. You know, we don't want to continue to wash because we're going to add more water to it. So if there's no crystals, don't wash. Because we want to get rid of that sugar, that water that's in there. The more I boil it, the more of the concentration, and you'll see in your little handout in the next PowerPoint coming, you'll see that in sugar solution that the water is going to be gone at 320 degrees, okay? And after we take it farther, what's the temperature of caramel?
323.
It's actually 338, okay, and above. So 338 and above, that's when it's going to start to caramelize. You're going to see that brown color and things like that.
All water gone at 320.
320, yeah. And you'll see that, that's not gonna be on the first quiz, you'll see it in the next PowerPoint, so you can look at it there. I'm just gonna set this aside. Now, rule of thumb. When we're putting in our colors, we would like to put those in near the end of the cooking process. The lighter the color, more towards the end of the cooking that we want to put it in there. Maybe 280, maybe 285, something like that. If they're really dark, it's really not going to affect the sugar that much. And because this one has a whole lot of water in it, because I did it, and this is a nice deep color, I'm going to add it right now. Because it's going to stay pretty dark color to begin with. And I really want to get rid of that water and boil it out of there. When you do it, put a small amount of water, and then especially in a light color, put it near at the end. White, almost put it at the end of the cooking entirely. That way it'll stay a whole lot more pure rather than coloring up, because we're going to start to get a touch of color in our sugar. Isomalt I'm going to talk about, but that's a little different temperatures and things like that. We're going to do some isomalt demos so you can see that. So right now, I'm cooking this highest heat possible. I'm not stirring. I have no crystals, but if I did, I would go ahead and wash it down, get rid of it. And we really want this to cook quickly, get it done as fast as we can, and get it over with. Now, in this method, my cream and tartar is in here early on in the beginning. Okay? So once you have your glucose in there, you can put your cream and tartar, and then we're going to go ahead and have that cooking so it has a chance to dissolve and invert that sugar somewhat. When we use the acid, which is in that dropper in that little container up there if you want to bring it out, and we're going to actually make some in class so you can see that. See the little eyedropper thing there? Yeah, little pipette. This is the tartaric acid, okay? This has already been mixed up, equal parts water by weight to the tartaric acid. It's Weinstein. It's a byproduct from the wine industry. We drop this in, and for our recipe, if we used 1,000 grams of sugar, 500 grams of water, 200 grams of glucose, we would use 8 to 10 drops of this, depending on what we were creating. So if we had real delicate pieces, you know, maybe ribbons, maybe we'd use 10 drops. You kind of have to play with that, but 8 to 10 drops is the kind of rule to go by. And you can kind of see when you do that. This, we want to put in at between 280, 285, right around there. If we put it in too soon, it will invert too much sugar, and it'll make it too sticky. So in other words, it'll never set. And not to confuse you, but we have a recipe that we're going to do. We're going to use our cooked sugar solution or cook this, and we're going to put in 1 to 2 drops of acid because we want to pull it some, but we still want a structure to it. I'm going to say this, and I'll keep repeating this. Anything that is a base or a foot or a support or cast piece will be made with no acid. The acid is for sugar that is being pulled or blown only. Be careful with this color, because if this is spattering and gets on your coat, it takes a little while to get it out. So,
Chef,
all right.
what color, if you don't add color, will it be, will it turn to?
And I'm going to show you that
yellow?
demo,
Okay.
not with this one, but you can pull it and it'll be just off-white. I'll pull enough air into it, make it white. You're going to see that this looks pretty dark, but when I pull it, it's going to come lighter. So what you're going to look for in here, and yes, you can put your thermometer in here, but there's no need to put it in right away. When you taught your cakes, were you taught buttercream, softball stage, yes? So 238, 243. So what did you look for if you didn't have your thermometer in there? Anything?
You could get a glass of cold water and drop it in.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead. You can drop it in there. I'm going to do the test here. If I didn't have a thermometer, I'm going to get my thermometer. What I know, what I look for is what I call a lazy bubble. In other words, the bubbles are bigger, all right, and they're going to move a whole lot slower than they were when they initially boiled. So what you can do is you can take your hand here and some nice ice water, okay?
Oh, God.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
And then you can take this. Now we're just coming past the softball stage, but you can see we're right there. All right, and you can just kind of tell that that's where I'm at, because I have a nice ball. I'm actually getting in, because I was talking a little bit, we're getting into the firm ball stage right now, okay? So,
What do you want it to be?
well, this is, I'm just showing you, but you can kind of look, if you were doing buttercream, you can kind of tell when that's ready to go. You don't have to have your thermometer, but you can kind of tell, because the bubbles, they slow down and they're bigger, okay? Now, as you get into it and it goes a little bit farther, and it's gonna go faster. Once it goes past the boiling point, your sugar will go very, very quickly. So once it goes past that once it gets into the 220s, 230s, it'll go very, very quickly, and it'll start going from your soft ball to your firm ball and everything else very, very fast. Now we're getting into, it's a firm, okay?
You want it to be firm?
No, we're gonna actually take this. This is our temperature right there. We're gonna take it to 310. I'm just showing you what to kind of look for. Okay? All right, I'm gonna put that right there. Now, we're gonna have water. And could I have this now in a bigger bowl, if you will, the next side? This is perfect right here. This will work. And then I'm gonna show you how to shop it. Now, this one, we shop. There are gonna be recipes that we don't shop, and some that we do. So you have to kind of keep track when we're at these tables doing demos. I will do a demo on every sugar cooking technique that there is as far as like what we take it to. So you'll see all of those.
Chef, what's the firm ball temperatures again?
On the firm, it's gonna go into the 250s, and then if we get into the hard crack that goes higher, there's actually that handout I gave you gives every one of those.
I'm gonna use mine now.
You'll see it.
Stick your toe
The
in there.
temperatures that I'm gonna ask you for is, if I give you a temperature in isomalt, I'm gonna ask you for the temperature difference between casting on a quiz, but more importantly, so you know, pulling and blowing 310, casting 315 to 320. Isomalt is different. Isomalt's going to be 340 to 360. All right, so we'll see what we're at here. So right now we're at 280, 290. We're very, very close. Chef can kind of tell when it's ready just by how it moves. Now when I put it in here, I ease the top to the front. Just don't send it down there really, really fast. Okay, and we don't want to leave it in there too long either. By the way, if anybody's interested and has the means, that's called a thermopen. It's only about $100, a little bit less than that, I think. Well, okay, sorry.
All poor college students.
Well, I know. Well, they make thermometers that are $300-some, so, you know. All right.
What a bargain.
So now, I'm going to ask you if you would just take this away. Don't, surface is hot, so just be careful.
So you just took it to the firm ball stage?
No, 310, 310, 310. That's on that recipe right there. So that recipe, this is for pulling and blowing. Now, if you didn't have a Silpat, we could use a marble. We're right out of time. This is perfect. See, I just want to teach laid back classes.
I know, I like that. It's nice, it's relaxing.
So, but anyways, a thermopen, and what's nice about it is very, very accurate and very quick. So it actually senses it has warm sugar on the end. That's why it's kind of taking a little time to cool down. But it goes very fast. You don't have to wait. On your thermometers that you have, what I recommend is, because they're the little probe thermometers that you have like this, take this spoon, stick it in there, and hold it like that. That way you're not going to drop it in there, and also you don't have to have your hand over the hot pot or whatever. So it's a common sense thing, but you'd be surprised that.
None of us thought of it.
Yeah,
None of us
but
thought
it
that.
protects your thermometer, you're not going to lose it, and then whatever. So
Should we
you
get
have
that
this.
there so we can take a picture of it? Like
Sure,
that?
absolutely. There you go.
Demo.
Demo. So yeah, that would be good. And then this way you can kind of look, it shields it, you know, those kind of things, and you can kind of hold it in there. Now remember that to check your sugar, check in a couple different spots. If you hold your thermometer right to the bottom, that pan is going to be a whole lot hotter than if you're going into the middle of the sugar solution, especially, you know, depending on how much you have in the pot. So I've shot this. I've made sure that I wiped off the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and pour this out. Now to clean these pots, easiest thing to do is put water in it, put it right back on there, and just boil it out. Don't try to scrub it or anything like that. And one thing I'm gonna ask is, don't dirty a whole bunch of pots and then wait to clean them up at the end.